in Africa. It would take already, Ghanaians are already trained to, Ghanaians are already corrupt. I can give you even examples when it comes to some of the Ghanaian shops here in Europe. You look at the prices of some of the items are just ridiculous compared to other shops, like the Dutch shops, or even if you go to, you know, like the Indian shops, for example, the Turkish shop, the Arab shops. You look at the prices that some of the items are not also, they are not high quality. They are not high quality. Believe me, they are not high quality. The quality is really, really, really low. You look at the packaging and it's laughable, but you pay 3 times, 4 times, partly because Ghanaians are greedy. We're greedy, we're corrupt. Our love of money is not because we love money because of the value of the money, but the quantity of money. Partly because we have suffered a lot when it comes to poverty, and poverty is probably one of the most traumatizing experiences that any human being can endure or can go through. And oh my God, Ghanaians have actually experienced poverty. So every Ghanaian that you see, just know that is someone who is traumatized by poverty.
More prevalent among the relatively younger adult population, when you find about 30% for the age group between 25 and 34 years, relative to only 17.6% for those 65 and above. Again, from a policy point of view, we may be seeing some progress in terms of its reduction over time, but once you see this occurring among a relatively young adult group, then we need to be concerned, because this is a group that, if we don't curb it, moving forward, we're going to see the rate inching up.
He further says the unwillingness of citizens to report bribery-related issues is worrying and must be checked. Also speaking at the launch, a Justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Yoni Kulendi, expressed concern over the alarming figures, especially with public sector workers.
I can say,
you know, I've said this many times that if a child was born today in Ghana, that child is already corrupt, right? There was, no, I don't want to get into it. I wanted to talk about something else. If a child was born today in Ghana, that child is already corrupt, because, okay, if a child is born in Ghana today, that child is already corrupt because that child is likely going to be born in poverty, right? Look at even the Americans, African Americans who moved to Ghana. The hardship in Ghana has actually pushed them into doing things that they are not supposed to be doing, right? They are getting involved in scamming other people, ripping the land of Ghana left and right, selling. You see, this is really pathetic. This is really sad. This is heartbreaking. And this is not something that I think this generation can solve. Maybe if you look at the age group, they're pretty young people. And they're even more corrupt than the old generation. This is something that I think it should worry everyone. You know, 5 billion Ghanaian cedis. That's a lot of money.
Without fear of contradiction, that the threat posed by corruption to our future is so obvious and frightening that we cannot afford to pretend about its prevalence, in spite of some very laudable efforts at mitigating the scourge, which is practically invading every facet of our lives. Corruption in Ghana, People's Experiences and Views Survey Report is hereby launched.
Yeah. How sad is that? Very, very sad. Right? Yesterday I was having a conversation with someone because we saw a small clip about how if you don't have corruption in Ghana, how are most people going to survive? Because the police is not making enough. The police officer on the street is not making enough. The military officer is not making enough. The immigration officer, the custom officer is not making enough. One of the reasons why I think the police officer doesn't make enough, the military officer doesn't make enough, the immigration officer doesn't make enough, and the custom officer doesn't make enough in Ghana is because the numbers do not add up in Ghana. They literally do not add up. And if the numbers do not add up, you have absolutely no choice. You see corruption everywhere. And as you see corruption everywhere in your society, bribery will also become very, very common. And from the police officer to the security officer to even your friends and public service officers, people who are supposed to just offer you free information, help you simply because you live in that city or in that country, they rely on bribery. And what I think is really, really concerning about this particular situation or this particular video or this issue of bribery and corruption in Ghana is the youth. The youth, do not forget, always remember, they grew up online. They grew up consuming American culture, and they have seen how other people live in other countries. And they are also better educated than their parents or grandparents. And here's one more thing. They are also technologically savvy. They grew up interacting with technology. And smartphones are their friends, their girlfriends and their boyfriends. Imagine the kind of society that you are creating.